So, I'd like to talk to all of you about the importance of keeping your blood sugar in check, okay? And also eating a low glycemic diet. I'd also like to talk to you about how the two are completely interrelated, okay? So, why is it important to keep your blood sugar levels in check? Because blood sugar controls so much of how our physical bodies feel and how our mental bodies feel. So, when your blood sugar is elevated, it's because you have too much glucose in your blood. Okay, so for example, if you've just eaten a chocolate bar packed full of sugar, you are going to get a rush of glucose into your blood. And what that does is that spikes your insulin levels. And when your insulin levels are spiked, you end up having more cravings, you end up feeling lethargic, and you can actually create depressed feelings from having elevated blood sugar and having your insulin levels spiked as well. So what we're trying to do with controlling blood sugar is keeping your insulin levels in check, okay? So I hope this is all making sense so far. Okay, so blood sugar is the amount of glucose that is in your blood. Therefore, the more sugar, refined sugar you eat that doesn't have any fiber in it, the more glucose is going to get shot into your blood, and the higher your insulin levels are going to go. Okay, and once those insulin levels spike, you crave, you feel lethargic, and you feel moody. Okay, so this is why it's really, really important to keep your blood sugar levels in check. All right, now our body does use a certain amount of sugar for fuel, yes, but if you're not burning it off, then you're not using that sugar in your blood, okay? And that's when you're getting that kind of whole cycle of increased insulin levels, and then you're feeling tired, and then you're craving, and you're moody, and then you go into that vicious cycle of having more sugar, okay? So blood sugar levels, keeping them in check. How do we do that? Well, we do that a couple ways, okay? We do that by drinking a lot of water. We do that by eating throughout the day so that your blood sugar levels are feeling stable. And then most importantly, we keep blood sugar levels in check by eating a low glycemic diet. So the glycemic index basically shows us how much sugar is in a particular food. So the higher on the glycemic scale, the more sugar you're going to have in your food. The lower on the glycemic scale, the less sugar. So you can go out there, you can do your research, and you can see what's high glycemic and low glycemic, or you can follow some very basic principles, okay? Basically, all processed food is high glycemic. Okay, you want something that has its whole grain, so it has a lot of fiber. The more fiber something has in it, the more low glycemic, okay? And it's going to keep your blood sugar in check. It's going to keep your insulin levels level. All right, so your low glycemic foods, high fiber, high protein, higher fat, all of those things are going to keep your blood sugar levels in check. Okay, so again, you can read in a book and look at the glycemic index and see which ones fall in or out, or you can follow the simple rules of getting a whole food, something that's high in fiber, okay, and something obviously that is low in refined sugars. Okay, so low glycemic foods, it's pretty basic, people. So it's your nuts and seeds. Those are very, very low on the glycemic index because they basically have no sugar in them. All right, they're going to satiate you. They're going to keep your insulin levels in check. Okay, anything with a whole grain. So if you're getting your brown rice noodles instead of getting the white pasta, brown rice noodles are lower on the glycemic scale than are your white pasta noodles. Okay, so typically anything that's brown is going to be lower on the glycemic index scale. However, you need to look at your ingredient level when you are picking out, if any of you out there are eating bread, okay, you want to look because actually a lot of those Dempster whole grain breads one of their first ingredients are sugar. So even though they have whole grains in them, they're still very, very high on the glycemic scale. So I hope this is all making sense to you.